You've been on my like dream guest list for this podcast ever since I started it. And then do you remember we met at the ham yard?
Yeah.
And then and then you were going to Freedom. I remember because I was like, you were like, come to Freedom. And I was like, I actually had to get up like at 6 the next day. So I was like, as much as I'd love that. And I just knew you'd be so fucking fun on a night out.
I shouldn't have gone to Freedom.
Did you go to Freedom?
That's the spoiler alert. I went to Freedom. I went there and I stayed there till it shut, and then I went to Stringfellows.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a fun night.
I had a ball. Like we had such a good night. But I was when I say black and blue the next day, like two of my gay mates, we always get into like a Strictly Come Dancing kind of dance off where I'm doing like actual tricks. They're like spinning me around the dance floor. I was falling off that pole. I mean, we had so much fun.
It's so much fun. Do you get bad hangovers?
Do you know what? It's just so boring and generic and whatever. As I've got older, yeah, let's be for real. Like when I was in my 20s, I could go out multiple nights a week. I didn't even feel it. And now they do get me, but I just have to attack it in the right way. For me, it's like I can't let the hangover kind of win. So you can like lie in the wallow.
It's such a mindset.
Yeah, and start thinking about all this stuff that you said. And it's just like, do you know what? Life is so fucking short. Get up, you put a hoodie on, go and walk your fucking dog, get a coffee and just get on with it. And that's what I try and do. 3 dissolvable aspirins, pint of water, let's be grown-ups.
Diarrhea, yeah, a vape in my case.
Anything to just like kind of numb it. And then I just feel like you just got to get through this day because then tomorrow you'll be brand new.
100%. It's like, do you have anxiety?
I do, yeah. I do.
That's kind of my mindset where if I'm having a really anxious day, I'm like, you just have to get to the end of it. Like you will have a night's sleep and then tomorrow it will feel better. Yeah.
And it is that whole thing of as I got older, it's like, you know it's in your mind and you just... I kind of think if you indulge it too much, it's over. So I do things like if I'm got anxiety, I put Friends on every telly in the house. It's like that kind of like
they're there with you.
Yeah, just like so there's no silence. I open the windows, just do things that make you feel safe.
And what are your like? Okay, so your career is amazing and you're doing so many incredible things at the moment. How much time do you have in your life to socialize? Do you go out a lot? You also have dogs. Dogs are such a big responsibility.
Yeah. And then if I know I'm going to have a night where I'm going to go to Freedom and fucking Stringfellows, it's like I'm not that person that's going out at 7 and my dogs are staying on their own until just
Absolutely
no way.
Not. No.
So there's always has to be someone that's going to like come in, have dinner with them. They don't like to eat alone because one of them, she's a little bit like got body issues. So I'm like,
oh my God, really? Stop. Oh.
But they like to eat as like a communal activity.
Yeah, that's so
like
cute.
Put her favourite shows on. So there's like, we're having dogs, there's like planning. But my relationship with like going out and partying has like evolved in the sense that I think in the last, especially 3 to 4 years, where I'm actually starting to achieve some stuff that I didn't think I would. I have that thing where I think I don't want to half-ass it. So if I am hungover, I am going to half-ass it. And that day I put my name on. If I film something, if I produce something, I know it's not my best stuff. And I just kind of got into that habit of being like, I love going out, but I also love this more. So I do still go out, I do still party, but I just do it less.
Yeah.
And I just pick my moments.
Because also it's just like much harder to enjoy like big work moments if you are hungover.
Yeah. And you feel like you do feel like you've kind of stolen a little bit of that from yourself, like that day and what your potential to bring to that job. And I think also when your career's growing and you realize it's not just about you, that there might be 100 crew members there that day, producers, writers, everyone's, and you're the one that's going to have your face on this project. That's not cool to turn up hungover. It's fucking disrespectful, in my opinion. I think that is
I
rude.
agree. I think it is, yeah. I think, and also it's like when people are really late as well, like, when people are like, I do think there is this like attitude where, and that's why it's cool. Like I actually, Dua Lipa's like my example of this, but you can tell that Dua Lipa just like works really hard and doesn't have like, she's not that dysfunctional like when she's touring and stuff.
No.
And I'm like, that's the vibe. Like pop stars sometimes used to be like a bit messy, or like rock stars were.
Yeah.
And now it's like, let's make like just showing up for your job like normal and cool and like not being hungover and like,
I agree. I had a conversation actually with someone in telly like earlier this morning, and we were talking about that. I think we are seeing that shift like in the attitude from talent, whereas there was definitely that era like where certain people were untouchable and they could be just an unbelievable arsehole and they would get away with that for 10 years. But I do think we are seeing that corner turn a little bit and people don't want to work with dickheads. And I also think being in an entertainment job, I think is such a privilege. Why be an arsehole? Like, you got the best job. Like, why make it hard? You're also making it harder for yourself because I feel like being an arsehole is really hard work.
But don't you think that there was an era where it's just like you could, like, if you were a man, you could. And then there were no consequences until now. And probably they felt really invincible. And I still think now the problem when not many people say no to you is that maybe you do think you can get away with anything. That's how like the dynamic of like power grows. But I do agree. I think now people speak in a different way about just in general, like people who are tricky or like not very nice. Like it's good to warn people about that. And so that will affect like who wants to work with someone.
I agree. And I also think the younger generations, Gen Z, for all the, you know, the ways that we like to take the mick out of them, whatever, they are advocating for themselves. Yeah. And they do put their mental health high priority. And so when they're coming up for these industries, they're not going to be shat on from a great height. Whereas I think I definitely grew up thinking that if you were a low role in something, it meant that people could speak to you however they wanted and ask you to do anything, no matter how insane that was. Like I was an assistant in a hairdresser's for like 3 years. And I mean, the stuff that I was doing for people, it would never happen now. And I kind of, there's one element in me that thinks it was character building for me. I paid my dues. I kind of had to like learn that, you know, you're here, they're there. But then, like you say, I think it also breeds monsters.
100%. When people think that, and also people get power and think that's how you're supposed to behave when you get power. And then it's so nice when you meet people who are in positions of power and they're just nice.
Because I would be interested what you think of this. Do you think money and power changes people, or do you think it exposes who they really are?
I think probably it's a bit of both. I think it's really hard to become really rich and famous and it not fuck you up in some way, because not that I have access to people who are, and I think it has effects on the way that you see yourself, the way that maybe you trust people. It makes you probably more paranoid. But then I also think that it exposes probably deep childhood trauma for people who haven't dealt with their shit, who suddenly become like really rich and powerful and somehow want to like exercise their demons and think that they can get away with it. And that's what we see with so many of like the men now who are getting like, you know, like pulled up for shit that they did a long time ago. It's probably because they just like couldn't deal with, you know. What do you think?
I sit on the fence with it. I think that, like you say, I think like whether it's a childhood trauma or something, I think sometimes you are who you are, and the more access you have to things, whether it's money, power, whatever, it can expose that. I think if you're an inherently good and kind person, there's a way to have that and also remain that good and kind person.
I agree.
So I think there's a line, isn't there? But I also think that if to become really famous or really powerful also takes a certain type of personality.
Yeah.
You have to be tenacious. You have to be, you know, kind of not manipulative, but you have to know how to work people. Otherwise you're not going to be
and that. You have to have a mentality of like you wanting it to be about you, because I think that's why then there are loads of people who are like side characters in people's like big successes, but the person who's the driving force, it's like you have to think you deserve to be like the leader of this thing. It's like the lead singer band mentality. It's like the lead singers of like really famous bands a lot of the time are the famously like the cuntiest ones, because they're given so much of the power.
And do you know what's interesting is people talk to me about like, and I've led this on now, like I think I'm fucking Mariah Carey. I don't think of myself as famous at all.
No, but you are famous. But you are.
But when I'm with my friends who work in finance or they work in hairdressers or whatever they do, and we're talking about different things, like, and I think it's the reason that, you know, my friendships haven't changed since my job's changed, is they'll like listen to me tell a story and they'll be like, I'd fucking hate to have your job.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's either something that you are naturally cut out for, for or you're not. And and I would tell a story, or I'll show my social media comments and they'd be like, nah, sorry, I would just run into a forest. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't really bother me. So it's interesting, isn't it?
But also, do you think maybe there's an element of like, it's luck of who you have around you at the time? Like, I think about how when I like watch documentaries about like famous people who have like it's gone terribly wrong for, it's like it's so obvious that they didn't have anyone that they were actually close to, bar like managers or like people slightly manipulating them and trying to get money out of them. And it's so good to just like have normal people around you.
It's really fucking sad, and you see those documentaries about like proper superstars, and it's like their parents are the ones exploiting them. It's actually it's a bit of a lottery there of who gives a fuck about you genuinely, and who's not just trying to get their little piece.
What is the thing that what is like the sort of when you do get like trolled on the internet, what is the thing that people sort of say the most, or like what's the like thing that maybe that your friends would be like, oh fuck that, I don't want to be exposed to that?
I guess it's just there's not a specific thing. I guess the things that my friends find that freak them out is like just, you know, everything you do is up for a discussion. So it's not like you just do anything and that's just me. It's like, oh, well, why did you eat there? Or why did you wear that? Or I hate my favorite, I get this really a lot, is the apologize before the insult. It's always like, not a stereotype, it's normally middle-aged. And they'll go, really sorry, Olivia, love you, but I absolutely hate that fucking hideous dress. And I think, Susan, just say it with your fucking chest, right?
Also, it's like, really sorry, Olivia, I absolutely love you.
You get it all the time. The pre-apology before the knife goes in. Or no, I've had one where it's like, I'm really sorry, I love you, and I love your shows, but you've never looked worse. I think you slippery cunt.
Oh my God.
You're not sorry. Don't be sorry. Just do it. Just
say
leave the mean thing and fuck off.
Yeah.
Don't try and soften it with an apology. You're not sorry about anything.
Yeah, and also, how can you say sorry and say I fucking hate the way you look? It doesn't make sense.
That's my
Oh
favourite.
my God, that is so funny.
They actually really make me laugh. And it's sometimes when I'm hungover, like I've got one of my best gay friends, Ryan, we will lie in bed, and if I'm hungover and I know I've been papped leaving some club or whatever, the comments are gold. And some of them fucking people, they should be doing comedy. They are so smartly written. I'm like, do you know what? Fair fucking play. Because that is actually good stuff. It's good material.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, I have an album in my phone when I'm sad. I go and look at my favourite things that people have said about me. Like this guy, when I started doing stand-up, whenever my dad would post a picture of me, he would comment on my dad's Instagram going, oh, look, it's the alcoholic with his son. Every time, oh look, it's the alcoholic with his son.
I'm dead. That's
and it makes, whenever I think about it, I feel happy. Like it just makes me happy.
It's the filthiest shade, but sometimes it can just be really heartwarming.
100%. And it's just sort of like it's silly stuff. But you know, but then what I was gonna say is like, because you do talk about stuff like, you know, Andrew Tate, kind of like some of the topics that you talk about, I'm sure also invite like, you know, incel-y kind of men.
Yeah,
or no?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I mean, I guess because also maybe not so much directly from my platform, but when I do my shows like Getting Filthy Rich, and I'm like, I'm not here to shame these women. I'm not here to promote what they do and recommend to any young female that the first thing they should do at 18 is start an OnlyFans account. Absolutely fucking not. But I'm going to meet women who have done different things. Like, so when I drop trailers and stuff, and then it's men in the comments, like, you know, like, this is disgusting, like, you know, slags and whatever, like, slurs they use. And I think, but they're literally making bank because of you and your buddies. It's just the weirdest thing. It's like, there wouldn't be this online adult content economy if it weren't for you lot.
Yeah.
But you're so pissed off about it, but you're the ones buying it. It's just...
When I was listening to you on Call Her Daddy, and you said that this thing, like what you're saying now, but it was like people put all the onus on the women and not on the fact that it's your friends, it's your it's your dads, it's your brothers, it's people you know who are like buying into this. It's not like these women are just like committing some sort of a crime. It's like they're feeding a need that is like very much there, and they're capitalizing on it as they should.
And the wider, you know, feminist debate is why are men so quick and desperate to be able to pay for access to women's bodies and access to, and as women on the other side, the scale doesn't even come close to our desire to do the same. You know, there's a whole argument to be had here, but the way I see it is that, you know, pornography and adult content hasn't been around forever. The difference is now platforms like OnlyFans lets the creators take control, which provides more safety, provides, you know, better income. So all of that I can only see as positive.
But that's what terrifies men. A lot of men just don't like seeing women have more power.
But I just think, and I think that bleeds across not just from
100%.
It's like the amount of times people will ask me, how does Brad deal with like you? What the fuck do you mean? How does Brad deal? Like, because I think it's so like common that a female partner becoming successful, or God forbid more successful than their partner, that male partner is going to have a reaction to it that's negative. And I think that is really difficult for women to navigate if you are in a hetero relationship. It's unfortunately it's more common than it is not.
Oh, I mean, like my dating history is like a really good example of that, because like as my relationships have always gone sort of wrong when things have been going well for me in my career, and it was Tyler who first pointed it out to me, and I was like, no, that's not true. And then now I see it, it's like such an interesting, like things are going well, things start going badly, like I get cheated on, or like something happens to sort of some way make me doubt myself. And that's definitely just because, not like, obviously you've got an amazing husband who's not like that, but like men are confused. But they are really confused.
Their egos are fragile on the whole. So when you finding an ego is such a funny thing, because ego is quiet. It doesn't scream and shout. It whispers, and it's like my husband has a genuinely like confidence, like a quiet confidence, and he doesn't need validating, and he also doesn't feel invalidated by my success. So, and I really think I got kind of lucky there, because I don't think it was something that I was like hyper aware of going back into our relationship. I think that I could never have predicted how he would be, but he's genuinely happy. You just know, also the thing is, because I've had these boyfriends as well, when you share good news, whatever end of the scale that might be, and they kind of go, oh no, but if you want to do it, like amazing. And you go, oh, but your reaction, you just put a little dampener on it. It's now planting a little seed in my head. Or they go, oh, you're getting paid for that. And you'll go, well, whatever. And they'll go, oh, no, but it's really good for you. Like, and it's just like that little moment where they've just pissed on your fireworks for a second, but it stings. Yeah. And then you kind of know you are with someone that's not really.
I know, but it does. I remember I once told a man that I was having this sort of situation with, that I was doing the Hammersmith Apollo, and he didn't even respond. He went, I'm performing at Glastonbury. Oh. Like straight away. But that made me feel really bad. And actually for months, even after it ended, I felt really like, oh, like what I'm doing is nothing in comparison to what he's doing.
And also it's like you're doing this incredible thing and he can't celebrate that for you. That's
which is such a
turn off.
I know, but the sort of like insecure side of me,
of you, it took it away.
It feeds into that. It feeds into everything I think about myself, or like a lot of what I think about myself, which is that like it's not actually that impressive, and so it's a dangerous. And I think that, which is probably like why you like got into your relationship when you did, probably, is I think people can smell, like a lot of men can smell when they are meeting someone who's going to be easy to manipulate 100%, in that way.
100%.
And then you probably just were like, because when I listened to you on Call Her Daddy, it just sounds like you went through a lot of what I've been going through the last few years in your early 20s.
I did.
Like realization of like getting away from the like anxious attachment style.
I was trying, talk about when I can, just for people that follow me who have this vision of me now. It's like, I was that girl. You would not believe, I've been on my hands and knees sobbing, begging an ex-boyfriend to leave, who probably didn't even have a car. Like, be so for real. So, like let's be so
It's
for
like
real.
that meme that's like when your friend's crying about that man, and it's like that man, it's like the guy from SpongeBob SquarePants.
No, honestly, it's like I get these girls, they write to my DMs and they're like, I wish I had the confidence of this. And I'm like, I want you to get to where I am, but babe, I've hung on to those car doors and been dragged down the road like this. Like I have, I've done every playbook, and this is not fucking like Mark Zuckerberg. This is some dude that can barely read, and I am like fighting for my life. And like you say, it was an emotional attack. I was so fucking scared to be on my own. I didn't care who it was. I just wanted someone next to me, and like I was, like codependent, and so it's like you can get out of it, but it's like just breaking a drug addiction.
It is. It's like breaking a severe cycle, and it is like an addiction because it's like I'm doing so much like inner child therapy at the moment, but it's so intense. But once you realize that it's like you have to stop feeding this like version of you, this person in you that actually wants to walk towards the fire. Like you have to teach the person, like the younger version of you, to walk away from the chaos. But it's really hard, and it's taken me like with various different guys like a few iterations to finally get to a point of like, okay, I can't do this anymore because of that like need to try and fix them or fix me.
Yeah, and the most comfortable thing in human psychology and nature is pattern. So if you've had one pattern with one relationship, the most safe thing to do is go back and say, even if it fucking sucks, we're just wired like that. And so I think, and that's when you get the, that typical thing of, a friend says to you, I'm dating this guy, but like, it's really boring. It's because your brain's going, you don't know this pattern. Revert to the pattern you do know, which is some dude that makes you feel anxious and leaves you on red and then pops back up, and we just do that as cycles. And it's probably like the same way I fucking cried when I used to get dropped off at boarding school. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't like being left. It's like like you say, childhood stuff. I then didn't want anyone to ever leave me in any other sense that I felt like I was being left.
And it's totally. And then it's also, it just brings up this, it's almost like it's a child in you reacting, basically.
100%.
Like, but that's why I honestly like think that the way you talk about all of this stuff is amazing, because it is comforting. Because I've sometimes just put myself in this category of I'm just mad. I'm just this like mad, unhinged woman. And actually it's like, no, it's like, it's the human experience. It's part of growing up, is going from being someone who like chases the car along the road to being like, okay, bye.
No. But also as well, I think the key is like working on yourself. But if my husband was here now, he would be like, she's fucking insane. Like, so it's also when you find someone that actually loves you, they don't want to see you are insane. They don't want to see you crying and hurt. Whereas I think when these insecure little fucking creatures that snuck onto earth that I used to date, they loved, like they got the girl in the monster bikini, like at the racetrack signing fucking autographs. And then 2 weeks later, they've got her on her fucking hands and knees crying, makeup down her face. I'm not being funny, they get a fucking kick out of that.
1,000,000%.
They have got the control. And the thing is, when you find someone that actually loves you and actually wants to see you win, my husband doesn't ever want to see me cry or upset or anxious. And this he's my friend. He does not want to see me in that state. And if we've ever had really, really big arguments and like he can see me kind of going there, he will always be the one to be like, he's firm in the sense of like, he'll be like, lower your fucking voice, go outside and like breathe some fucking air, take a Xanax and come back. Like, because I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing the the theatrics.
Totally.
When you these toxic men and women, they love it. They thrive off it.
Yeah. No,
so
100%.
I think it's you're allowed to be a little bit crazy, but you need to find someone that
I completely agree. And it's also about being like knowing when someone is actually willingly making you crazy and wants to make you crazy and is getting a thrill out of knowing that they're making you feel mad, or just being like, this person accepts my, like in the way that all of my friends accept my sort of like eccentricities. You want the way your friends love you is the way your partner should love you, and it's like it's a different relationship, but you should be able to find an element of that. And I think that insecure men and women, it goes for all relationships. It's like they like when they are insecure, seeing you unravel is like fucking heaven to them. But it makes them feel, because you've done so much work, like so much of the work you've done in the last few years is about like the way that sort of like men and women are kind of interacting with each other at the moment in the world in general, it has gone like very wrong. But like, where is this going? This is the thing I can't quite figure out. It's like, I can't figure out how we'll come back to some form of sort of like resolution where it's not so severe, like men being scared of women having power.
I think we're on the cusp of something. I don't know what it is yet, but I think we are like teetering in this really dangerous space right now. Because I feel, I mean, if you look at the reaction of that adolescence Netflix thing, you know, it kind of summarized a really scary view of what is happening. And I think the problem is men were not raised to be ready for the kind of the power and the identity that we as women were going to have and the individuality. So they are kind of dealing with that change. And then the problem is when men feel isolated, they are then absolute putty to fucking people like Andrew Tate. It's like they are just sitting there ready to be brainwashed. It's too easy. So I feel like, you know, and I think the problem is with some groups of men is they feel like women hate men and they feel isolated. And I think that we have to find a way to kind of bring us back together.
I agree.
I don't hate men.
No,
I don't like the fact that I do feel relatively afraid of men I don't know. I fucking hate that. But I don't hate men. And I feel like I think there has to be a way for this to get better.
Well, I think not to be like, but I do think adolescence has started something that I really hope will have some kind of tangible effect. Just on even thinking about like the male role models who were involved in making that show and the fact that was like, it was like, you know, it was a lot of men who like really wanted to make it. It wasn't like women who were like, we need to get boys thinking about this. It was men being like, this is so worrying and we need to sort of try and influence like younger generations and parents as well. And that's so positive. It's like really thinking about like, there are so many amazing men in our lives in the world. I just wish that they were the role models that some of these younger boys were looking up to, not Andrew Tate. Like it's like that's what kind of we need to try and shift. But I do agree. I mean, look, it's the internet lacks in like all form of nuance. So it's like either you hate men or you don't.
I know.
And that's not true. Like that's what makes me sad because I love men and I'm heterosexual. So I'm always going to be wanting to get with them.
I mean, honestly, I mean, there's sometimes when I'm like, you know, people talk about like, oh, you can choose your sexuality. It's like, you think I'd choose this?
Yeah, exactly.
But you think I'd choose to like live with someone that like basically sharts his boxes every day? Like, can't be like, let's be fucking honest. If I could choose, I wouldn't fucking choose this, would I? Like, it's a heavy crown to wear, but Jesus Christ, like, yeah, I love dick.
Yeah, that's what I'm so.
But it definitely would have fucking choice.
No, it's very true. I saw that you said on Sophie and Jamie's podcast that you didn't love your wedding. Are you a host? Do you like hosting, first of all?
Yes, I do, but I don't think I really should do it.
Because you get so stressed?
I think because I'm a Monica at heart. And I think that, I think me trying to make...
At first I thought that was a star sign. I was like, what the hell is a Monica?
That's the most millennial thing as well. So anyone that's not literally 30 will not know what the fuck I'm talking about. From Friends, it was a sitcom, you know, in the 1800s. So at heart, I'm a Monica. So I think that's like that. I want everything to be perfect, and I want everyone. And I think I did it with my wedding, and I did it with my 30th, and I think I start doing everything for everyone else, and it just wasn't. And I think that with weddings, this happens. It becomes weddings bring out the worst in your guests,
and also
not in the fucking bride, in the people in your life. It shows them because I think people in your inner circle, they really find weddings to be a big day for them. You know, everyone wants their role, and everyone wants to know when they're getting their hair done, and so it becomes it just.
And do you think also everyone wants to know like where they're ranking it, like where they stand in the sort of ranking?
So I think weddings bring out the worst in other people, not the fucking bride, and I think the bride then or the groom then implodes under the pressure of their party. Like, I don't think it's, you know, I think some people, you know, no judgment, I kind of sometimes are jealous these kind of girls. Like some girls, it's their whole personality, like for a year, go for it, do you. and they can become horrible. But yeah, normally I think it's just the bride just crumbles under the fucking pressure.
And is that what happened?
Yeah, I think I let it. I mean, I filmed it for a fucking TV show as well. Like, I mean, I knew what I was getting myself into, and I think all those aspects, it just became really heavy. And I did have fun, but I think in the 2 weeks leading up to it, it just felt like I would have just loved to have just eloped, because I was like, what the fuck? And it just. The money, and again, this is a very like privileged kind of situation to be in. And I'm not being, delusional when I talk about this stuff, because obviously you're either in this situation or you're not. But the money just gets stupid. It just, you get down that route where you're like, you kind of go, we're not getting into that category. And before you know it, they're literally like oxygen's extra. Like at a wedding, everything you look at or touch, they go, oh, do you like the lights on? It's gonna fucking cost you. Anything. Oh, your guests want to use a toilet. And there's a toilet roll tax. But
it's also they'll see the stress and the like need to like impress and it go well on everyone, and they're like, you're not going to say no to anything because you want this to be perfect. Yeah, and they take advantage of that. It's like when my mum walks into Selfridges, I'm like, honestly, she's just the perfect victim to Selfridges.
They see her coming.
They will persuade her to buy fucking anything. They will make her think she needs everything in Prada because she's like never had it before. She's got every black nylon thing from Prada ever, even the like dog shit bag.
I'm obsessed. She sounds like an icon. Yeah, but yeah, and I think I'm not talking about getting married, but I just think just make sure you just do. And I did have fun. Like oh my God, I had fun. Beyond after a certain point. I was so drunk at the first breakfast, what you fucking call it. Like my brother was like feeding me bread, and I said that I wouldn't do that, but I lost cognitive function. I couldn't lose cutlery.
Really?
No, there's a clip. It's really funny. I need to dig it out. It's like they filmed me. This is the kind of beauty of having like a TV show, because obviously I have a mic on, and they film me like across the table. It's like really badly shot, and it's like, and I'm like talking to Brad, and he's like, just please don't talk to me for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, we just got married, and he's like, you're fucking wasted, and I'm like, I'm not. And I'm like, literally, my eyes are like, one's looking at you, one's looking for you. Like I'm basically dribbling, and he's like, eat something, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm like going towards the steak, and he's like, that's a spoon, and I'm like, maybe I want to use a spoon. So the wheels came off hard and fast.
Yeah, but that's also the adrenaline. It's like the adrenaline's done, and then you're like, the only way is to
once that completely gone,
wipe it all out.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Where am I?
It's the only way to deal with what must feel so intense as a day, because it's like a wedding to me is like my worst nightmare of like everyone you've ever known being in one place, and then loads of people that you know from someone else's life. It's so overwhelming. Say that again?
After a show, big show.
Yeah, after the Apollo, I had an after party, and as soon as I got there, I didn't regret it, but as soon as I got there, I was like, why the hell, after the biggest show of my career, have I just walked into a room of like 250 of all
to
like,
do the same thank you
over and over again, and I loved it, and everyone was so happy for me, but I was just like, oh my God, like, can we stop talking about the show? Like, I want to just talk about something else. It's just so overwhelming.
Yeah, and then with the wedding, the whole year up to it, all anyone asked you, how's the wedding planning going? How's it? And then they ask you the day after, how's it feel to be married? How's it feel? Same as it fucking did yesterday. Yeah. Like, just, you know what I mean? It's like when no one means any fucking harm by it, but it's like, just like it gets a bit like you feel like you're stuck in this vortex.
Totally. It's like you're talking to ChatGPT. It's like over and over again. It's like, I remember turning 30 and people would be like, how does it feel to be 30? And I'd be like, what the guys? Like, it's not that deep.
My friend got married the other day, and I was messaging him, and I literally typed out, how's it feel to be a husband? And I went, what are you doing? I said to Lee, I was like, you're better than that, Liv. Come on. You hate that question. But it's an obvious question. It's an icebreaker. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's small talk, but then it's like, oh,
obviously, when are you having kids?
Yeah.
Which I also just think as well is just like, you just basically want to know when are me and Brad going to start raw dogging. That is, in my opinion, too much information for you.
Yeah.
Like, and also I also think it's such a weird thing of that we're trying. I'm like, okay, so you're
my God,
getting loaded up every night.
Yeah.
Cream pies. I don't imagine
That's just you showing off about the fact that you're having sex.
Mark, I don't need to know that
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Do it.
I know, but it's funny. I said this the other day to Catherine Ryan because we were talking. I was saying to her that I don't like hearing about people having sex. And she was like, have you seen your stand-up, Grace? Like, all you do is talk about your sex life. And I was like, yeah, because I'm in a one-sided conversation on stage. Like, no one can reply. I don't want to think about other people having sex.
Well, I literally watch people having sex. Like, I'm in the room. I think
oh my god! Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, yeah. I thought that was like your kink.
but it's weird. It's like I'm literally in the room while and obviously there's way more happening than we can show on ITV. And then I go home and I get into bed and I'm to Brad. I'm like, don't touch me. But people always go, oh, I bet when you're filming this show, like you just like go home and it's like proper wild, and you're like, and I'm like, no, I sleep like this. Like if his foot touches me, I scream, ah! And he's like, it's my foot. I'm like, I'm just gonna go sleep now.
Yeah, that is overwhelming though, to be there while people are shagging.
I mean, it's fascinating.
Totally.
It's
I think I'd find that easy if I didn't know them. It's like if I knew them, I'd be like, this is fucking
It's very
weird.
like Natural Geographic. And also I feel like I'm nosy. And I also think fair play to you. Like you have let me into your home to watch this. Like I am not going to treat this with anything less than respect. Like I couldn't do this. So like I'm fucking kudos to you that you've got the confidence to do this. Like, so I have full respect for it, but it's weird when you see so much sex. I'm like, yeah, you don't want it.
Yeah.
You don't want it anymore. I'm, like, I'm good actually for like.
Yeah, no, I've told this story so many times on my podcast, but I overheard my parents having sex not that long ago, and then I really killed my sex drive.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It was
That'll
horrific.
do it.
Like,
That'll
it really ruined it for me because I was just like,
Talking of
thinking about them doing it.
Yeah, and sex and also having pets. Have you ever has Ed's ever walked in?
Yeah, I mean, has she walked in? I mean,
but where do you stand on that? Because I'll tell you what our situation is. So we've got big dogs. One of them is like a German Shepherd type mix. So she's like big and she's like tall. So I say this, the fact that we've been in some situation and then she's come in silently and she's eye level. So she's just at the bed like, what the fuck are you doing? And like, I've just literally been like, get off me, I'm gonna be sick. Like she's just literally clocked me, like eye to eye, and I'm done.
Yeah, no, it's not a vibe.
No, it's horrible.
But at the same time, I've like gotten better at her being in the room, but like on the bed. Sorry, not on my bed, on that little fluffy thing.
Do you feel like she's judging you?
But I'm not gonna. The other day, I was having sex, and she somehow broke out of this room and got into that room. Both doors were fully closed. I don't know how the fuck she did it. She opened the doors, and then she came on the bed with her hump toy and wanted to hump while I was having sex. Because she's really horny. Do any of your dogs hump?
No, they don't.
That's really nice.
They don't, but they just judge. And so the Rottweiler, she just doesn't even know what day it is, so she doesn't care. But yeah, and I feel like shepherds are so
clever,
smart. I always feel like I'm living with a skinwalker because she's so switched on. She can open doors, open drawers, she can open the fridge. Like it's this weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like she's like a human. Wow. So I always say to Brad, like I can't. She knows exactly what's going on.
And when she's looking in your eyes while you're being pumped from behind, it's like she's really looking at you. She's reading you. It's too much.
It's so ridiculous that because sometimes we go to this really nice hotel in Scotland and it takes dogs, but we've got to the point where like we go with the dogs, but if we want to have sex, we have sex in the bathroom. So I'm getting done over the sea in this like 5-star hotel that we paid a fortune while our two dogs are laid out on a king size,
on a fucking giant bed.
And then we come out the bathroom and they're like
in Glen Eagle.
Yeah, and she's like this. She's like trash. And I was like, what have our lives become? No.
It is funny though. I do think like
also Brad's like once she's looked at him, he's like, I can't, I'm done. It's horrendous.
Really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. Do you have any like sort of things you want to get off your chest in terms of people at parties? Like things that people do or when you host things that people do? I think it's so interesting. I think you were saying, by the way, of people wanting to know what their power ranking is at a wedding. But
as in my do's and like for partying, what's my kind of...
Well, what is there anything that people do that annoys you say like, I don't like it when someone turns up with someone else and they haven't told me they're bringing the person.
Okay, don't come out or come to a party with a stick up your ass. Like, remove it first. I cannot, my bugbear, and this is like, you know, you see it more and more recently. I felt people just forgot how to have fun. It's an epidemic in itself. Don't come to my party or any party and then try and just talk about other people, or, you know, be so concerned that someone's so drunk and being like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, she's having a great time, you're not. Like, just don't, like, leave the judgment at the door. I'm really like, my friendship group are feral, and everywhere we go, everyone fucking knows we're there, and I'm fine with that because my friends know how to have fun. And I'm not saying you have to drink or, you know, be wild to have fun, but just let's not like be judging people.
It's that like superiority complex of like, look
like,
how drunk that person is.
Look how drunk they are. I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's thriving. She's got one tit out.
She looks like she's having so much more fun than you, sitting here getting wrinkles because you're scowling so much.
And my other thing that is my pet peeve, which, you know, I hate calling myself an influencer, but so it's a little bit controversial, but I have this rule. It's like, past a certain point,
no pictures,
9 p.m, put your phone away. Put your fucking phone away. You don't need to be videoing anyone. Like, that's not, like, I don't think people videoing people falling over or being sick or whatever is like funny for the memes. I think it's shady. I don't like that. I don't like when I see people at after parties with phones out. I think it's sus. We live in a really weird culture where things can go online and be misconstrued and whatever. You don't need to have your phone out.
I completely agree. Because also it makes you so much more self-conscious. And
yes,
I had last weekend such a fun night. And then the next day I was like, I wonder if I took any pictures. I didn't take a single picture because I don't really I don't think to do that. And then I was at a party a few weeks ago, and like when I say everybody was filming the whole thing. And then I just was like feeling really self-conscious because I was like, I don't want to be in the background of one of these videos, like looking kind of fucked and like falling over a bit. Like, it just made me feel weird.
And I don't take myself seriously. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, I need to be photographed in the best. Like the odd video, like to like sort of the 10 o'clock point, if I'm drunk and I'm up doing something, yeah, go for it. But I think past a certain point, like you just ruin and I think, like you say, it makes you not trusting of you. And I just think having a catalogue of photos of your friends in less compromising positions on your phone just feels very blackmailer-esque.
Yes, it does.
I don't know what you're saving them all for, because like I just don't think anyone needs to remember that. Do you think, you know, Sarah wants to remember that she like drank puddle water?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone needs to remember that, especially not her.
No.
So I just,
I think we should all go back to the good old days where we have like one film camera in a group and we take static film pictures that we develop like a few months later, and that's the only documentation of that night. Because I think it's nice to have a memory of a night, because then in 20 years I'll be like, oh, that's the night that I K-holed, and like it will come back, it will all come back to my head. Do I want video footage of that? No.
And also, like, I don't have these anymore because I've made it so. But do you remember what you did last night? Friends? No. And I plan to keep it that way.
But I think those people are, because it's what I love about Emily. I've grown up with Emily since we were like babies. We've known each other, but she's never drunk alcohol. But she's never, and she saw me in the most uncompromising situations as a teenager, like, oh my God. And she would never be like, oh my God, do you want to hear what you did?
You're a real
she would never do that. And even I'd be like, tell me what I did. And she'd be like, you were fine. It's like the poor girl was completely stone cold sober, dragging me up a hill at Boomtown while I was like paralytic.
Was that why you didn't drink? When you saw that and you're like, do you know what? I'm good.
Yeah, it was a real responsibility, but like that's the way of doing it, you know. Like, why are you gonna like make someone be really paranoid the next day when they're already hungover? It's just like so unnecessary.
And also I think that the Instagram, everything just feels so extreme at the moment, and I feel like, look, I'm not going to get into people's sobriety journeys because 100% some people need to be sober, that's so cool, but I feel like there's a lot of like people want to shame. Like, if you want to raw dog this life, fucking go for it. Personally, I can't take
I need some crutches.
I can't take my suffering raw. That's just me.
Yeah.
I need a little something. I need to like something to look forward to on the weekends. But if you can, that's great. But let's not just like try and make people feel
I couldn't agree more. And actually I went on a date like 2 weeks ago with this guy, and I had to leave because he just kept talking about how his ex-girlfriend was an alcoholic. And I was like, oh, how much did she drink? And then he was like, she would drink wine every time we went out. And I was like, She sounds fucking unreal. Like, I wish she was here and you weren't.
And also, I'm like, did she have to do that because of you?
Yeah, exactly.
Was she self-medicating?
She was driven, yeah, to that. But it's that vibe of like
judgment.
It's like, I couldn't agree more with the like, we all need our things. And it's so great if you like are addicted to the Diary of a CEO podcast and you're like really into like health and wellness and like you've read every self-help book under the sun and you want to like live your life in some way. Don't fucking force it down anyone else's throat. That's what I don't like. It's like, I like to have fun above anything else. I want to get old and be like, I had the most amount of fun that I ever could have had. And no one made me feel like shit about the fact that like well into my 30s, I was having a good time.
No, I know. And also, yeah, that's the other thing. There's no age limit on this.
No.
Like, stop trying to say, oh, you're not 21. So what? Yeah. Now I've got money. It's even better. I can buy even better stuff. Yeah. Why am I gonna fucking stop now? I was fucking poor back then. I had to take what I could get. It's way better in your 30s.
So much more fun, and the holidays.
It's just getting better.
Yeah.
So all of that, and also it's like I'm really a split personality because I like to tip my toe in a little bit of biohacking, and I am a bit of a like.
Yeah, but that's called balance.
I like healthy stuff, and I get a kick out of it. There's a balance there, but also like I think that's the other thing. It's not everyone needs to feel like they're getting better all the time. Some people don't want to be better.
But also, you can be like, one day a week, I'm going to go out and I'm going to smoke fags and I'm going to have loads of fun and stay out to like whatever time you want to. And then drink apple cider vinegar every morning. That's two things. And that's how I function because I have fun. But then in the week or whenever I'm not having fun, I'll like drink kefir and like, do all of the things
and
that
I
the
think
doctors
that's the
say
thing,
you
isn't
should.
it? It's like that's how my relationship with partying is now, like in my 30s with my career the way it is. It's like, so I'm saying no to a lot of stuff because I know I've got a really big day on set tomorrow and I want to be great. Then I might have a day with the night I saw you. I was off the next day. Let's fucking go to freedom. Let's get fucking loose and let's have a good time. And we're going to have loads of memories. We're going to fucking piss ourselves. And also I think when you live a fairly restricted lifestyle and you're doing a performative job, you need to fucking let loose.
You really do.
Blow steam off. I have to like really get the cobwebs out.
Can you imagine like a monotonous life of like never having that? Like that's the only way I can cope with being alive is that I go through like periods of like working really hard and then I have periods where I just like have so much fun and lose my voice and like cane and then I go back to working really hard. I could not just do that.
It's a different kind of person. Like you just really like suffering.
Yeah.
That is your king. And it's like, the people are like, I'm doing this because I want to live forever. Like that? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you do you, but
I just think like
I don't know.
I want to be like Grace and Frankie. I want to be like old and be still like getting high with my friends and drinking wine.
And I think and look, not everyone can do this. And I think you sound like you're like me and you have a very similar relationship to I have. I can say no to a drink easily, and I can also, I'm not kind of person I go out one night that I'm going to go out 7 nights in a row. I can go out one night and then that's me. And then I'll go out in a couple of weeks' time. And I kind of can pick it up and leave it. And some people can't. And I get that. And that just is your like genetic makeup. But then I think also just Instagram culture has just, is given a lot of airtime to insufferable assholes who like, it's not an addiction thing. It's just that they've got no personality.
1,000,000%.
So now it's like my personality is getting up at 4 a.m.
and putting ice on my face.
What are these fucking cunts icing their faces for all the time? I really want to know.
Like, that's not
what you should do is you should hold your head under there.
Yeah.
For as long as possible.
Get brain freeze.
And do us a fucking favour.
My final question is, what would the drink... Have you got a drink named after you? Is there a drink that you make people...
No, I'm literally that fucking person. It's like, oh, you want to drink a glass of nothing? Because I like a vodka soda.
I watched that video you did with Pete where you were like ranking the drinks that you liked. And I was like agreeing with all of them because all of the ones that I didn't like, you didn't open your mouth for.
Yeah, no.
But do you like wine?
I love wine. Wine doesn't love me.
Fair.
Brad calls it bitch juice.
Yeah.
Like It's weird because some part of me thinks different alcohols affecting different ways in the myth, but I don't know if it is though, because I've got like, I could do a dissertation on the behaviour changes. If I stick to vodka sodas, some vodka based like martinis, whatever, I can be really good. If I drink too much white wine or too much rosé, I'm a problem.
Yeah.
Like a problem in the sense that we was in Dubai or somewhere and I drank like 2 bottles of rosé. I was with Brad and he said we were talking in the pool and then he said I just swam away and joined a stag do.
Do you remember that?
No. And I was going, oh, my boobs are their fake. And he was like, oh. And then and when I came back, he was like, okay. He was like, the wine's a problem. But yeah.
But I do think there is some science behind that because I do think when people, not naming any names, but you used to get quite crazy when you drank wine.
Drank white or rosé.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a thing.
Yeah.
I get sloppy on wine. It's like, and I start doing things that are kind of, I'd say, out of character, like that.
Yeah.
Like I was just being a bitch. And yeah, like kind of bitchy. But yeah, vodka's agree. Like, do
you like a dirty martini?
Love.
That's my
Love. Like really love. And I like a good tequila.
Same.
And also I feel like if you drink tequilas, vodkas, the hangovers are not as bad.
When I only drink dirty martinis, first of all, I drink less because I have to drink them way slower.
Yeah.
Than like, vodka lime soda, I drink it like it's a glass of water because I'm getting hydration from this. And then, but a dirty martini, and then I don't have a hangover.
Yeah, wine's the devil. And champagne the same.
Well, you've been an incredible guest. I'm so honoured. Thank you so much for coming here. And I'm so glad that we got to do this. You're amazing. I think everything you do is just wonderful. And we're so lucky that we have you as like a sort of like poster girl for being like a cool English London girl.
Oh my God, ditto.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, not the same. Definitely not. But you are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.